Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Kelly. We'll get into introductions in just a little bit, but really I just wanted to thank you for being part of the first webinar in my 2023 webinar series, really meant to empower women in all phases of motherhood, the first phase really being this fertility and conception phase. So I am going to share a deck, which I think will prevent me from being on camera anymore, but that's okay with me. And as I share my screen, Colleen, I might just ask for you to confirm you can see it. Oh, 1 second. And can you see the deck?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, cool. So today's webinar is all about conception planning, and I have Colleen here from Heal 180. We'll jump into some introductions and then the agenda and get rolling. So as I mentioned, my name is Kelly. I am a yoga instructor focusing really on pre and postnatal yoga, as well as personal training. But really, in going through my yoga journey or journey to become a yoga teacher, there was so much more to it than just asanas. There was a lot about anatomy and just the whole pregnancy, all the phases and what your body goes through. And in learning all that, I just wanted to learn more. And a natural extension for me really was fertility. I've had a lot of friends and family members who struggle with fertility, and I just wanted to understand a lot more about it. So I've really started to lean on Colleen and some other individuals in the community to understand more so that we can really help each other in encouraging each other and making sure that everyone who wants to become a mother can. So with that, one of the amazing resources that I have met along the way is Colleen. So Colleen, do you want to share who you are?
Yeah, sorry, I muted because my son's upstairs screaming. So that like echoes down. My name is Colleen Cleason. I originally went to school for nursing, and then like almost all the way through nursing school, I decided to go for nutrition and dietetics. I kind of wanted to be in the proactive side of healthcare. I am an ovarian cancer survivor of 12 years now. I was told I would never be able to have my own kids after going through cancer and chemo, and I don't like being told no. So I made it my passion to heal my body and prove the doctors wrong. And so I basically spent 10 years I was in health and wellness. I've been in all aspects of it. I've been in the hospital setting. I've been in fitness centers. I've been in weight loss, women's health, hormone balance. And I've really just been drawn towards research and education in hormone health, which in turn turns into fertility and preconception. So my practice now is based on women's hormones and preconception, as well as during pregnancy and postnatal. But we really focus on healing the body as a whole. I've been able to have my son all by myself, no help from doctors, and still blows their mind when they hear it. And I'm currently pregnant with twin little girls right now. So all the information and research and studying and education I've done, I'm utilizing to hopefully help other women have healthy pregnancies, healthy babies, and just a really good experience. Pregnancy can be kind of scary and we can feel alone. You go to appointments every few weeks or so and see a doctor, but it's nice to have a team of women who can be there to help you and help you feel your best. And I also focus on postpartum because those babies take a lot from us nutritionally. So we try to replenish it and get mom healthy too. So that's my main focus. And me and Kelly connected over the summer, and we're just got big plans for the area to help women.
Awesome. And I know you do a lot with women going through IVF and IUI treatments as well, right?
Yeah, so I'm a Mercier therapy practitioner. Dr. Johnny's a doctor in the area. I'm trained under her, so I do body work with Mercier therapy, and that's really helpful with IVF, endometriosis, PCOS, but also I help assist women if IVF is something the route they have to go down, then we prepare their bodies, because IVF success rate is about 25% and it's very expensive. So we want to put women into that when they're ready to go into that, the next step of their fertility journey. We want it to be successful because it's a lot on their bodies, and it's a lot in general. So I also assist women with, if that's something we have to do, which happens. I mean, there's some things you don't have a choice, whether there's a genetic issue with mom and dad or whatnot. IVF is the only way to have a healthy baby and prevent miscarriage. Then we go down that route, and I'm kind of like an advocate and person to help them through that field.
Awesome. All right. Well, I know you have a lot of great stuff planned. Before we dive into that, though, we'll start with some meditation and movement, just really starting to bring awareness to our bodies and start thinking in a positive light, really preparing our mind, body, soul with regards to the meditation, the movement, and the nutrition, ultimately preparing for a baby. So after that, I'll turn it over to Colleen to talk about nutrition, hormones, everyday toxins that we come into contact with that impact our fertility. And we'll be talking about this in both a female and a male sense, because it takes two. And then we have time for Q&A at the end. But of course, if you have any questions, feel free to come off mute and ask, or type it in the chat, and we'll get those addressed. So if you don't mind coming into a seated position, we'll start with some meditation and movement. And I'm just going to switch my screen here. All right. All right. So find a comfortable seated position. And we will be lying on our backs in just a little bit for some of the movement. So if you're on a chair or something right now, maybe you can come down to the floor at some point. If you just want to watch, that's perfectly fine as well. Okay, so really to start off here and get grounded, let's take a few cleansing breaths. So close your eyes, and on your next inhale, bring your arms up over your head, palms to touch at the top. And on your exhale, bring both hands down to heart center. We'll do two more just like that. Deep inhale, arms up, overhead, palms to touch at the top. And exhale, palms down to heart center. One last time, deep inhale here. Palms touch at the top. And exhale, hands come down to heart center. Drop your chin to your chest. And just stay here for a few breaths, really focusing on your breath as you breathe in and out. Start to bring some awareness to that breath. And with each inhale, just say something kind, something loving, some healing, positive words to yourself. And on your exhale, send away any negative thoughts or self-doubt, negative self-talk that maybe you say to yourself. Take a few of these breaths, inhaling those positive thoughts and exhaling the negative ones. All right, bring your thumbs to your third eye or to the part right between your eyebrows. And just apply some gentle pressure there. This is a great spot to initiate stress relief. As things come up during the day that may put you in a certain mood, maybe bring about some anxiety, come to this breath, apply some pressure to that acupressure point. Start to tap into your parasympathetic nervous system. Now I want you to imagine that there's a pool of warming light forming where your thumbs meet your forehead. Now imagine that light just melt down your nose, your chin, over your throat, down your chest, past your navel, and all the way down to where your seat meets the ground. Release your thumbs now and bring your hands to your knees. On your next inhale, starburst your chest forward, bringing your torso towards the ground as you rock yourself forward. Exhale, push yourself back, round your upper back, bring your chin to your chest. And just start rocking, inhaling forward and exhaling backwards. And as you move, imagine that light flowing out of the midline of your body, really warming your extremities, down your shoulders, all the way to your fingertips, down your legs, all the way to your feet. On your next inhale, start to rock everything over to the right, bringing yourself into a clockwise rotation with your upper body. Really spreading that warmth and that light to every crack and every crevice of your body. Letting some of the stress that's built up melt away. Reverse that, bringing it into a counterclockwise rotation. And come back up to a neutral position. Imagine that you are now radiating light and warmth. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your stomach. And just breathe into this breath. Feel your chest and your stomach rise with your inhale and fall with your exhale. Feel that life-giving warmth fill your heart and fill your womb. Now, one thing that I am a firm believer in is positive affirmations. And so one that I came up with for tonight is, with every positive thought, my body gets closer to creating and accepting a child. And if that resonates with you, just repeat it to yourself silently or aloud. With every positive thought, my body gets closer to creating and accepting a child. All right. With that, we'll find some movement here, really to continue to calm our mind, our body, and promote blood flow. As a very important part of conception really is a rich, thick uteral lining. And so there are some amazing yoga moves that we can do that maybe you've done before and never really realized how impactful they are in really energizing your uterus and your pelvic area, especially important as we plan for conception. So if you are able to join me, come onto your back, lying down. Now, this move is called legs up a wall, but we'll do it in the middle of the room or wherever you may be. But at any time that you want to do this, feel free to just sit down next to a wall and hike your legs up the wall. And the great thing about this is there's so much rich blood and fluids that build up in our lower extremities throughout the day as we stand and sit and walk, and just letting them elevate above our head, above our body. Let's all of that rich blood come back towards our pelvis and towards our uterus. Breathe into this. We won't stay here very long tonight, but this is something that you can work up to, and maybe as you watch TV or listen to a meditation, you can just throw your legs up the wall. Bring your legs down, hug your knees into your stomach. Start to rock side to side. Maybe do little circles with your knees, letting them come away from your stomach and then close to your stomach. Grab your right leg and extend your left leg. Now, one way to promote blood flow is also to contract and then to release. And if you think about your veins, your arteries, even things like your intestines, acting almost like a garden hose, if you were to kink the garden hose and then straighten it out, there would be a gush of water. And our blood, our intestinal tract, it's the same. As we contract and then release, there's a rush of blood, there's a rush of digestive fluid. So with that, we'll extend our right leg and just allow that rush of blood. On your next exhale, pull your left leg in. Again, constrict that blood flow. And on your next exhale, extend your left leg. Again, allowing for that blood to rush through your veins and your arteries. On your next exhale, bring your heels close to your body, setting up for bridge pose. Then your next exhale, slowly lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Now, if you'd like to roll your shoulders under, starbursting your chest, maybe clasping your hands underneath your body here. Just stay here for a few breaths. This again helps with blood circulation, but it's also a great heart and chest opener. Helps with depression and alleviates stress. Slowly come out of that. If you've curled your shoulders under, return them back to their original position. And on your next exhale, slowly lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall out wide in reclined bound angle pose. We hold a lot of stress and trauma in our legs and in our hips, and this is a really nice opener for those. And as we finish our meditation and movement practice for today, please bring your hands back, one on your heart and one on your stomach. Return to that breath. Breathing in positive thought. Exhaling out any negativity. Really use this breath to flood your mind with positive thoughts that serve you on your journey to motherhood. If that positive affirmation spoke to you before, let's just say it again now. With every positive thought, my body gets closer to creating and accepting a child. You all are radiant. You're filled with light, life, positivity, and warmth. Take these positive thoughts with you throughout the rest of the night, throughout the rest of our talk, throughout the rest of the week. Always know that you can return to this breath as often as you need, really to breathe in those loving, healing, positive words, and exhaling the negative self-talk, self-doubt. Doing so until all of that negativity is removed completely and your body draws ever closer to creating and accepting a child. All right, that ends our practice tonight. Feel free to gently come up either into a seated position or return to the couch or wherever else you would like to watch the rest of tonight. Thank you so much. And Colleen, I will pass it over to you.
All right, now I feel like I'm ready to go to sleep. All that relaxing. All right, let's just jump in. I'm going to share my screen. I offer a course where I teach a lot about healing your body. So I'm going to show you guys some slides from that course specifically as I talk, because sometimes it's nice to have a visual aid, or if you want to take notes, it can be super helpful. So give me 1 second here, and I'm going to share a few things with you guys while I talk, so you don't just have to stare at my face. All right. We good? Everyone's still awake after that? All right. Kelly, can you see my screen okay?
Yes, we're on prenatal vitamins.
Cool. All right, so I'm going to pop this up a little bit. As I'm getting up here, just a side note, part of my healing journey and fertility journey, a huge part of it was mind and body. So a lot of meditation, yoga, as Kelly said, positive affirmations were a huge part, because when you have this mindset, even a negative mindset, or maybe you were told something or you've been struggling for a while, the mind's very, very powerful in your journey. So that was definitely something I personally have used and try and use with clients. So just a little side note there. Okay. So first off, first I'm talk a little bit about preconception nutrition. I always say for her and for him, because it's takes two to tango. And a lot of times when there is fertility issues per se, 50% of the time it can actually be from the male. So especially if there's unexplained infertility, usually it's on both sides. So usually we try to address both. If I meet with people, I'm like, hey, can you bring your husband on? Not the whole call, but just for a portion of it, and make sure they're on board too. Sometimes this can also help take the pressure off, or if you're setting new goals, it's nice to have your partner with you. So for her, one of the major things we like to do is support minerals. While you're pregnant, baby takes so many minerals from you, and then postpartum if you're breastfeeding. So one of the big things to set up for a good pregnancy in the beginning is minerals. A lot of times if there's a lot of nausea and sickness in the beginning trimester, it's usually because minerals are off balance. So we usually try and work on that. There's different ways to do that in testing, but it's usually the number one thing we look at. And fortunately, most prenatals don't have many minerals in them. So it's something you have to kind of do on your own. Also detox and birth control. So whether you're just getting off or even off for a little while, most of us were on it for many, many years. So we like to usually detox, get your hormones set up again, so the body, the brain, and the ovaries learn to talk to each other again, and then replenish all the vitamins and minerals that were depleted from birth control, which I have a whole course in my Heal Your Body course, a whole section on birth control and how to heal the body after it. Start FAM tracking, so fertility awareness method. And this is a great way to track if you're trying to conceive or for when you're not trying to conceive. It's a nice replacement for birth control and just getting to understand your cycle. So you get to understand body temperature, which is a huge part of your fertility, and having high enough temperatures. This also lets you know, confirm ovulation. So get into a little bit of that in my course as well. But the other ways to track is from cervical mucus. So that can be another reason why some women aren't getting pregnant. They might not have peak cervical mucus around ovulation, and this is really important for the sperm. If you don't have that ideal cervical mucus, sperm can't last. So that's something to work on, as well as getting to understand your body and cervical placement, which can kind of help you see your fertile window. So that's something you can look into. Figure out your supplement plan. This one's tricky because you can't always do this by yourself. You can do this if you work one-on-one with a practitioner, but a prenatal is a nice like insurance, like if you're missing out on nutrition, but it's not a one size fits all. So most prenatals are actually not regulated by the FDA, which is harsh, but it's true. All a company has to do is put on the label prenatal, and they're automatically a prenatal vitamin. There's no requirements to make them one. So it's kind of nice to see maybe what you're missing. Maybe you need more vitamin C, or maybe you need more magnesium, or maybe you're getting plenty of folate and you need more choline. So there's trying to figure out your own supplement plan on where you can supplement in your prenatal journey is huge. And then we're going to talk more about toxins, but cleaning up your makeup, skincare, cleaning products, it's a huge part of your fertility journey, getting stress under control, whether that's physical, emotional stress. That could be from diet, from not eating enough. That could be from over exercising. So maybe calming down and doing more yoga videos with Kelly, or going to her classes, just a way to bring your nervous system down after being stressed all day. Little things like that. And then just start nourishing your body. So one of the biggest things with fertility and preconception planning is eating, not skipping meals. Your body needs to feel safe in order to carry a baby. So if you are skipping meals, skipping out major food groups, fad dieting is not the picture for fertility and conception. If the body doesn't feel safe, it will not procreate. Then if we go into him, it's all very similar stuff. Again, minerals, limit EMF exposure, which is one of those toxin type things too, but EMF exposure comes from like cell phones in the pockets, laptops on the lap. This research shows, tons of research shows how damaging this is sperm. Make exercise regular. So most of us women, we can kind of hop into an exercise routine, but sometimes men hop out of that as they get older. So trying to get them back into an exercise routine for blood flow is healthy for sperm. Figure out a supplement plan for them. Clean up their personal hygiene products too. So this can be hard. Like I know personally, I can't get my husband to change deodorant. And I've tried, I've bought all different ones and he still stinks. So I let him keep his deodorant because that's fine. Everything else in his life is pretty clean. But just trying to clean up where you can and get it a little bit better for the men. Getting stress under control. Sometimes men seem to do a better job of controlling their stress, but it doesn't matter. Signs of stress are increased aging, wrinkles, if they have trouble sleeping, digestive issues. Just trying to address their stress as well is just as important. And then nourishing their body. So getting them into the habit, and that could be a thing as a couple. So I'm just going to talk about a couple supplements that are good for fertility for men and females. If you look online, obviously there's a couple, you can spend a ton of money. So if you Google search fertility supplements, you'll get a lot come up and they're probably not even that good for you. But some of the universal ones that are recommended for men and women is beef liver. So beef liver, desiccated beef liver, it's like nature's multivitamin. If you eat it, if you grew up in a culture where you eat liver, that's something you can add into your diet. If not, there are desiccated liver supplements nowadays. That's one of my number one for clients. And it's very powerful. It's very strong in B vitamins and copper and iron. And it's just, you have to start slow with it normally. So one pill at a time. The ones I usually suggest are 4 pills per serving. So just trying to make sure you ease into it because they are very strong and can be almost detoxing. because you're not used to all those vitamins. But beef liver is a simple one. Vitamin C, I like to do whole food vitamin C in the whole food form because it's intact the way nature made it. So it has all of the ascorbic acid with the copper, which you really need the copper, which is the center atom in the vitamin C that helps it function. Whereas ascorbic acid is missing that, which is a synthetic version. So I like whole food vitamin C. This is a strong antioxidant, so it's great for egg health and sperm health to repair it and immune support. You want your immune system calm down when you get pregnant. If you have an overreactive immune system, this can be a risk for miscarriage and attacking the baby. So you don't want your immune system to attack the baby. Having a strong immune system supports that. Vitamin E for both male and female, one of the best antioxidants, and we don't get enough. This can help fight against free radicals that we might get from poor diet and stress. Again, it can help replenish egg and sperm quality as well. A vitamin B complex, pretty simple. We all need our B vitamins and they're water soluble. So we're usually not getting a ton or enough of them. If you eat meat, you're getting B vitamins, but still, it can't hurt to take more. And they're usually pretty affordable. And then CoQ10, which is probably one that you've heard about. This is also found in beef liver. So if you take beef liver, you don't even need it. It's also found in fatty fish and muscle meats. But CoQ10 is another one of those type of antioxidants that are known for replenishing egg health and sperm health. So normally that's like the only supplement people will go on. They'll see, Google it and research it. But I would try all the other ones first before doing that, because CoQ10 can be kind of expensive, like $30 a bottle or so. But those are some universal supplements. If you got them in the house, they can help you both. And if your husband doesn't want to take them, if you could just make it simple, like put them on the counter by the coffee maker and just work a deal with him to take them, then do whatever you got to do. And I'm going to jump into some fertility foods next, because I always think food first over supplements. When it comes to supplements, you definitely want to do whole food-based ones over synthetic. Synthetic, our body doesn't recognize, so usually it's missing, it's not in its natural state, so our body doesn't utilize it as appropriately. So you want to do more food-based, which all the ones above I gave you are all food-based type supplements. But some of my favorite fertility foods are going to go a little bit against what traditional nutritionists say nowadays on social media. We really dove into this plant-based world, and plants aren't going to save us. They're good for us in moderation, but they're not the end all be all. So they don't have as much nutrients and calories as we need. And like I said, you want the body to feel like it's thriving, not surviving, in order to conceive. So below are some of my favorite fertility boosting foods. You want foods that limit stress in the body. So they should be easy to digest and absorb. Brazil nuts is one people have heard about pretty easily. It helps with your daily selenium, and it can help raise testosterone in men. Most of us are deficient in selenium, and this leads to thyroid issues. So you can either have Brazil nuts, or we have like selenium drops. They're like mineral drops. It's like $10 a bottle. And I just put that in my water, or like I make these adrenal cocktails, which I'm drinking right now. I just put that in there once a day. You don't even taste it. But selenium is super important for fertility. Pasture raised eggs. So if I had to pick one food for fertility and pregnancy, it would be an egg. Eggs are just perfectly made. They have everything you need. They have folate, they have choline, they have protein, they have cholesterol. You need cholesterol to build a healthy embryo. So that's one of those foods, even if someone might be vegetarian, if they can get eggs in, that's huge for their diet. Citrus fruits. Citrus fruits are super easy to digest and absorb the carbohydrates from them. They also are packed full of minerals. So those are one of those things that are great to include in the diet, whether that be orange juice, fresh limes, lemons, pineapples. Those type of fruits are very, very good for fertility. I'm not even sure if pineapple is technically citrus, but it is good for fertility. Full fat dairy, if tolerable, raw dairy can be a little bit easier to digest. Usually if you're having trouble tolerating dairy, but you used to be able to tolerate it when you were little, then you just have to do some gut work. There's some gut health stuff going on that's keeping you from digesting dairy again. But full fat dairy is another favorite. It just has so many fat soluble vitamins. and vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K that you need to build a baby. And that could be, if you can't drink milk, getting some good quality yogurt or cottage cheese, or bringing like organic cheese and dairy back into your diet. It's huge. Oysters, which you've probably heard are an aphrodisiac. That's simply because they are packed full of vitamins and minerals and literally the fertility food. So oysters are one of those things that not everybody likes. You could do them raw if you get it from a place you trust. You could do smoked oysters. Otherwise, they do have desiccated oyster supplements. Same way they have like desiccated liver. So they're a little pricey, but like in my first trimester, I wasn't able to tolerate oysters. I just had a lot of food aversions, but things didn't sound good. So I definitely take the desiccated oyster supplement. Gives you the same bang for your buck, but it's just really good for fertility and your thyroid. And your thyroid health is so important for fertility because you need it functioning. It's a huge portion of how your hormones are produced. Enough protein at every meal to balance out blood sugar. So protein is so important. And that's part of the carbohydrates aren't the bad guy. It's just the way we eat them. So we always have to keep them balanced with protein. And then raw carrots. Carrots are this really cool vegetable that when they're grown underground, they have to find a way to protect themselves from other biofilms of bacteria in the dirt. So they have natural fibers in them that help fight off bacteria. So when we eat them raw, like I have a carrot salad recipe. When we eat these raw, these can help us fight off if you have like GI issues or you have passive SIBO or any bad gut bacteria, it can help fight them off and be passed out through your stool. The fiber also binds to excess estrogen, helps get that out in your stool and detox. So men have excess estrogen, so do women. We could have excess estrogen from being on the pill. We can have it from having our hormones or cycles off, from using toxic products or being around it our whole life. So everyone could use like an estrogen detox always. So those are just my big ones. If you don't already have them in your diet, finding a way to add a few in here and trying something new. Does anyone have questions about what I just went over with the nutrition or the supplements? Kelly, do you have any questions?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah. All right. So those are my main factors that I usually talk about with fertility, is really focusing on eating enough. I'll have a lot of people ask about intermittent fasting, and intermittent fasting really isn't opportunistic if you're trying to conceive or balance your hormones. It just puts that body in that stressed out state, and it raises cortisol. And so when your cortisol is very high, that creates inflammation in the body. And we don't want excess inflammation because that creates a poor environment for a baby to attach to the uterus. So you don't want to do that. And how do I get the message? Oh, Caroline, I have the raw carrot salad on my Instagram and website. So I think we have that linked at the end of the session.
Yeah.
So you can find it there. It's like super simple. It's like just raw carrots. I make it in a mason jar and keep it for the week. And you can use coconut oil, since coconut oil is it's therapeutic too, and fights bacteria. And then I put some vinegar. I like to go, if you're local, it's the Geneva oil shop, the olive oil shop, and get some of their like tasty vinegar. Like they have different flavors, pomegranate, fig, and I'll use that on the carrot salad and salt and pepper and keep it in there. You can put, seasonal, like some sliced apples in it or raisins if you tolerate raisins. And it's like a nice little side salad to eat with some, with whatever meal you're having or as a snack. And it's simple. And I can tell you like how many people we've gotten rid of like period pain, acne, how crazy it is at just helping estrogen. And it's cheap. You don't have to buy any like crazy supplements, it's carrots.
Thank you. Perfect.
Yeah. Simple. Okay. Yeah. So back to just eating. If I could tell you one thing, eat. Weight, weight loss you want to be at a healthy weight when you get pregnant, but trust me, I'm like, when it comes to growing a baby, like you need that healthy weight, you need fat on you. You can't be underweight or undernourished. It just doesn't leave for a healthy place for a baby. So eating every 3 to 4 hours, protein and carbs, trying to eat as whole food as possible. So when I say carbs, I'm not talking donuts, unfortunately. If you enjoy a donut, go for it. But I'm talking fruits. So like we talked about the citrus fruits, getting in oats. I love oats. Those are usually a pretty easy one that people can digest. Sprouted is even better. Costco has the 1 Degree brand. It's called 1 Degree, but they're sprouted oats because with any grain, you want to make sure they're prepared properly, and that will help you digest them and actually absorb them. So oats themselves have to be sprouted. Those are good to get like a big old bag for like $10. I bake with oats, or I make oatmeal. That's a great one. Rice is fine. I actually like white rice over brown rice. Brown rice tends to cause people to be a little bit more bloated. White rice is easier to digest, and it's simple carbs. It's absorbed pretty easily, but you can soak it. You can cook it in a pressure cooker. That makes it easier to digest. It breaks down some of those lectin proteins that are hard. And then you can also cook it in bone broth. So I'm sure you all know the bone broth craze. Bone broth isn't new. It's been around for thousands of years. It's what your grandma made when you were sick. So bone broth is super nourishing for our hormones, for fertility during pregnancy. So cooking like rice and stuff in bone broth, one, it makes it taste delicious, but two, it adds in, I'll make a thing of rice and I put bone broth in, and then a serving of rice has an extra 10, 12 grams of protein simply from the bone broth. So that's a pretty cool thing to do. Focusing on protein. This can be hard. Like I know for a while I was vegetarian, not vegetarian, but I just didn't care for meat. I didn't really like it that much. Maybe bacon and eggs was about my choice of meat. And so it takes time to add it back in, but trying to get a variety of protein. So not just doing chicken every night, doing beef. Beef is not bad. Beef is good. Beef has so many fat soluble vitamins in it and iron and stuff that we need. Just getting quality. If there's anything you could spend your money on, if you have the budget, I would do quality meat. So organic, grass-fed. We have tons of local farmers in the area, or you can get in one of our co-ops that are in the area. Try pork, adding in really good seafood, like cod, mahi-mahi, shellfish. Shellfish is we don't have a good picking of seafood out here because we're, in Illinois, but shellfish is super nutrient dense and good too for fertility. So just getting a variety of stuff, it doesn't have to be broccoli, rice, and chicken. Like get unique with your food and get some more nutrients in. Okay, so go ahead.
Sorry, even when you're talking about like sprouted grains, so like quinoa, letting that soak for a certain amount of time, right, before cooking it.
Yeah, so most, like any grain you do, you should always let it soak and sprout. Quinoa is one if you have digestive issues, though. I'd lay off of it for a little bit just because it's really hard to digest. So usually I tell people if you feel like you see it in your stool after you eat it, then it's no good. Your body's not digesting it. And quinoa is one of those that can do that sometimes. But yeah, any grain that you do, you'll want to get it sprouted or soak it first. That really helps with the lectins and phytic acid that is on it. And some of them nowadays, you can literally just buy them that way, which makes it way more convenient to buy it sprouted. I know Thrive Market has a lot of sprouted stuff like that, grains and legumes, which makes life a million times easier because, we're not all like on our little homestead cooking all day and have all our mason jars. All right, if there's no more questions about that, I'm going to jump into a couple other things. We were going to talk about, me and Kelly were talking about like toxins and the stress it causes to our body and our fertility is something worth mentioning. You may be a person that has a healthy lifestyle. You feel like you've done pretty good. You exercise, you do yoga, you eat healthy, you watch what you do. You're not over drinking, you're getting sleep, but something's still not clicking. And sometimes it can just be added stress. It could be internal, it could be external, it could be toxins from when you were little. That's just, been bombarded over the years, but there's just different ways. If there's other ways you want to tackle your fertility, and maybe you're not too worried about nutrition and exercise, then we thought we'd talk about other toxins and stressors. I always pair toxins with stress because toxins cause stress in the body. So they're one and the same. But internal stressors could be food intolerances or eating food that's not bioavailable. So I'm not a true fan of saying like, oh, I'm intolerant or I'm allergic to this. If you have a true allergy, like celiac disease or whatnot, then of course, please avoid things. But usually if you have an intolerance, it's because your body's having a hard time digesting. It's not forever. So we usually want to get to the root cause of why you're having a hard time digesting it. Now, if we're talking about like, not the best food, well then, yeah, because it's for probably poor quality food. But just trying to get to the root cause of why you're having trouble with that, because food intolerances really do affect fertility, digestive issues. Imbalanced blood sugar is a huge stressor. So if you're skipping meals or you're having that wonky highs and lows all day, that'll really affect your hormones. That can lead to PCOS, that affects endometriosis, also affects any hormone imbalance. The birth control pills, an internal stressor. Any medications you're on, usually when I work with clients, we like to look at if they're on medications for a while. Could that be affecting them? Is there a way we can maybe wean off or replace them? Dehydration. So even if you're drinking water, sometimes water is not enough. So adding some minerals to your water, because our water nowadays is lacking minerals because we have to clean it so much because it's so dirty. So trying to add some minerals back into your water is a great way to actually stay hydrated. Caffeine overload. I'm not against caffeine. I am a coffee person, but it's just used in moderation and always after or with a meal, because caffeine raises cortisol. So if you're drinking it on an empty stomach, it's just going to keep you in that fight or flight, stressed out mode. Fad diets, we've all done them, all tried them. I'm hoping we're slowly getting out of the era of fad diets, but if you've been in the world, in the diet area since the 90s, it's been one fad after another. So just trying to break out of that and kind of get a clear head away from it, poor sleep, and then the mineral depletion again. So some of the external stressors are toxins, work and family stress, people that are emotionally draining or energy vampires. Sometimes you got to clean that stuff out of your life if possible. Beauty care products can be full of toxins. So this is something me and Kelly were talking about. There's some really cool apps you can use to see what products you're using and how they're ranked. So there's two I'm going to tell you guys about. One is Clearia. It's spelled, I'm going to put it in the chat. It's literally spelled Clear, yeah. And it's this really cool app. You can pull up whatever store you want to look at, like Target, Sephora, Amazon, and it brings you up to that actual web page, and you can search one of your products. So say it's like your favorite conditioner or your favorite lotion, and it has a ranking at the top telling you what's in it and how it can affect you. So shows you the research articles that are with it. And some of them are just simple stuff, like it'll just say, oh, could cause skin irritation. And then other ones show you, oh, cause breast and uterine cancer in rats. Or it'll say like, what's the word it uses? Like fetal issues in pregnant rats or whatever they say. But there's stuff that's kind of red flags. So you can see how ranked your beauty care and makeup is. That's one of those things that can kind of be overwhelming to change. But if you do little by little, it's not as scary. So possibly, like, all right, this month I'm going to try a new shampoo, because shampoo is a hard one to swap out. The next month, like, okay, I'm going to get all new cleaning products in the house. Then, maybe you might try your makeup or whatever you use on a daily basis. Anything that's touching your skin on a daily basis, if you can try and clean it up. That's one of those apps that's really nice, Clearia. And then the other one, I don't know if I have it on my phone anymore. Let me see. By EWG. Let me pull it up on here. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Kelly?
I don't have that.
Let me see
that we were talking about.
I'm not sure if this is the one you're thinking of, but isn't there also one? I think it's called Think Dirty.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
That one, okay.
Kind of like that name too. Think Dirty.
Yeah, kind of cute.
Yeah, you can't forget that. No, but I'll have to look that one up. This one is it's by EWG. This is like their actual website, but it's known by your environment. They'll rank ones in their database, and they do everything, like not just like skincare, makeup, But they'll do food products too. And you can download the app and you can scan the barcode and it shows you rankings. Just super cool one to download too. Sorry, you guys can see all my bars now up here. But yeah, the EWG app is another one I really like to use. Okay, let me jump back here. Then household cleaning products. I think that's one that a lot of people have naturally started changing. It's not too hard now. You can get, Target has a lot of them. Just be careful with any of the perfumey or strong scents. Usually if it smells too strong, it's probably not natural. Technology and EMF, so daily exposure. So this one's huge for your toxin level. One, because we spend so much time in front of blue light. So we have so much artificial light all day. And this is really triggering to our hormones and our thyroid. Naturally, we're supposed to wake up. You get out in bright white light, natural white light in the sun, maybe a little bit of red light from the sun coming up, and then you're out in white light all day. Then slowly the sun goes down, you have some more red light from the sunset, and you're done for the evening. Blue light's in between. It's artificial, and it really stimulates stress on our thyroid. And our thyroid, which is why so many people now, the risks of hypothyroid and thyroid issues is just off the roof, because we're in more stressed out states. And when we get stressed, our adrenals get stressed, and then our thyroid takes a hit. And something as simple as all this light exposure, especially in the winter, they used to always see more of this in people who lived in the winter or colder months, and not people who lived, more in the warm climates. But now they're seeing it all over because we're all sitting in offices and, being not exposed to daily sunlight. So that's another reason why seasonal depression happens. It's not in your head. It's simply because it literally is affecting your hormones, your thyroid. So a couple ways you can get around this. Obviously, you can't get around it completely because it's 2023, but you can wear blue light blocker glasses. I'm usually wearing mine at this time of night, but if I had them on right now, you guys wouldn't see me because it blocks my eyeballs out. But that's something super simple you can do all day long. That can also help if you feel like you're getting a headache from your computer. If you want to watch TV at night, I'm all for watching TV and relaxing. It's a great way to shut your brain off if that's something that works for you. But throwing on the blue light blockers, trying to turn your phone off at night, putting it on airplane mode or turning your internet off so you don't have the Wi-Fi in your room. That's huge, especially for men too, if they have their phones in their front pockets. Trying not to do that. Keep it off them. And as a woman, try not to keep your phone in your pocket. I think I was telling Kelly this. Whenever I see a mommy with a pregnant belly and they put their phone right in their hoodie pocket, I'm like, it's right by the baby's face. So it's little things like that. I don't want to be a party pooper, but this is just something so simple that's part of our daily life, making little changes that can really affect. And again, there's tons of research showing how strong these EMFs are. And you can see what your rating is in your area. If you have a home or a townhome, usually you only have your internet that's running through your home. But if you're in an apartment or if you're in an office building all day and all those routers going, you have so many EMF passing through at a time. So it's just trying to find ways to reduce it, and then also find ways to reduce stress in your life. If these are stressors you don't have control over, what stressors can you have some control over? Because we got to work, pollution. That's one of those things, again, you can't always help, but we can do other things to try and mitigate any of the stress that comes from it. Daily stress and anxiety. Sign up for Kelly's classes. That'll help you there. I always feel better after, going outside and getting a walk. Even today, so cold and windy, but did it, baby dog, and I felt so much better afterwards. So it's just making those baby steps for things that work for you. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe saying coffee with a friend, just something to reduce your stress and anxiety. Social media, especially if you're trying to conceive, whether you're having a hard time or you're just planning, it can be exhausting to see all the posts, all the information is being thrown in your face. So sometimes it's good to take a break from that too, if you feel like it's overwhelming you. And then over exercising. So that's another stressor that I'll see a lot. That ends up being external and internal, but overdoing it because the body feels again, if it's in fight or flight or too stressed out, it's not going to make a baby. So these are all things too you can share with your partner. And like I said, the point being, stress is inevitable. We're not going to get rid of stress. Unless we all go move to the middle of nowhere, go get an island and live that life one day, then we might be able to avoid some stress, but it's inevitable. So what you want to do is really try and make yourself resilient. And the way you do that is through good nutrition, good getting in your vitamins, your minerals, your water, your sleep. those type of things that really heal the body from those stressors makes a huge impact on your fertility. And we're going to go from there. This is all stuff I teach.
Sorry, one thing, Colleen.
Yeah.
We're just looking at the EWG website, or at least that's what I see.
Oh, sorry. Here, hold on. It's because that's probably this. Oh, it's because my screen's paused. How did I even do that? Here, let me share again. So you guys can just see the screen I was looking at. I'm not sure if you saw it yet. It was the same internal, external stressors.
Yeah. Perfect.
Sorry about that. I must have paused. I didn't even know how I did that. That's technology for you. Yeah, so that was just, those are the things I would normally focus on when it comes to nutrition and toxins and stress if you're starting your fertility journey. And then this also carries over into your conception journey. So once you conceive, it seems like that's when times people usually start chiming in on this, like, oh, is this safe for pregnancy? Is this not? But really, what's not safe during pregnancy is usually not safe in general. There's no, when you become pregnant, you're not magically like this sick person that can't do all these things. A lot of times it's just people are more conscious of what they can and can't do when they're pregnant because you're taking care of another human being. It's no longer yourself. But in the preconception process, you should treat yourself just as good as you're going to treat that baby in your womb. So you matter just as much. So trying to make these changes beforehand, make it simple, because then when you are pregnant, you don't need to worry like, is this safe? Is that safe? Because you've already made a lot of those changes. And these are things that I work on. I have in my program, it's called Heal Your Body. And then also just work on with clients one-on-one. But it's all things, like you guys are aware of. It's just little changes in your lifestyle that can really help you. Kelly, is there anything else you wanted to input or any questions anyone has?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I did have a question around plastics because I know like they're everywhere, in what we eat, drink, but what is your thought in limiting plastics or trying to eliminate it as much as possible?
Yeah, so I forget about them because I forget people still use plastic as much as they do. Like when I go to my mom's house and she has all of her plastic Tupperware containers. So that's one of those things where you have to think about how much exposure is it truly? Like if you're getting takeout for Chinese and, egg drop soup is in the plastic container. Oh my God, is it the end of the world? No, if you're not getting takeout food every day, it's not the end of the world. Now when you're putting leftovers away at home and you're bringing food for lunch, that's one of the things you're exposed to on a daily basis. So best thing to do is to get, like the glass containers or some type of Tupperware, steel Tupperware that you can store on. Because if you have different temperatures in the food and you're heating it up, that's when the plastic leaches. Same goes for like plastic water bottles. A lot of times nowadays, the water bottles will say like BPA free, but they're truly not. It's not just BPA we're worried about. BPA is the one that's gotten lots of research and hit with the light because it's proven that it mimics estrogen in the body, stores estrogen, it's related to cancers, but there's way more toxins in plastic besides just BPA. So you'll see BPA free on plastic stuff, that's usually not enough. Now, let's say you're traveling and there's only plastic water bottles, you don't have your reusable, or you're at a business meeting and they only have plastic water bottles. You'll be okay. You know what I mean? You can drink them. I just wouldn't buy them at home and keep them for regular use. I would invest in clean water, some type of filter that you have, especially like I'm in St. Charles. Our water is horrible. I can literally smell the chlorine in the water if I don't have like the tub filter on when I fill it up. So really trying to get clean water, and you really want to make sure it's free of like chlorine, fluoride, those type of things that can really affect your hormones and your thyroid. But again, if you're out and about, like, and you have a water bottle here and there, it's not going to kill you. It's when you have, like the big case from Costco and that's all you're drinking is bottled water. Same for like plastic bags and stuff. Just trying to get the reusable bags. It's actually way cheaper to have those in the house. But just moderation and think about how you're using it. It's not the end of the world if it's here and there, but the things you use every day, trying not to use a plastic because it will leach. And that's just one of those little things that you can change. Now, if you really like putting your whatever dry trail mix or something in a plastic bag every day and you don't want to change it, fine. It's not like the end of the world. It's more so the things you're heating up and temperature changes where the plastic's actually going to leach, like a water bottle that may be sitting in the sun or whatnot. Does that answer your question about plastics?
Yeah, thank you. I think that's just one thing that, is so prevalent, and we just don't think about like how they're endocrine disruptors or estrogen mimickers, etc. So.
Yeah, and most people are pretty estrogen dominant, even males nowadays. And signs of estrogen dominance range, but like irregular cycles, heavy periods, acne, bad PMS, hair loss, digestive issues. There's just a whole bunch, because estrogen can be a good hormone, but when we have so many, phytoestrogens and mimicking in the body nowadays than we ever have, it's causing, it's wreaking havoc. So just ways to minimize that is huge.
So I'll just leave this on the screen if you wanted to take a screen capture. As we had talked about before, Colleen and I are happy to work with you on your fertility journey and after in whatever capacity we can, especially as we talk tonight with that meditation, movement, and nutrition piece. I think the last thing that I have here, and I can send this out after the fact. Sorry about my setup, I have to keep walking. But I also added some positive affirmations. I know that there are a lot of great YouTube videos for you to watch or move along with in terms of fertility flows. There's also a lot of great positive affirmations out there if you want to just Google them. I just put some that kind of resonated with me. Obviously, it's something that you want to feel strongly about. And as you say it to yourself, it really hits home. So.
Yeah, I truly believe in the affirmations. Like even just because I hate this saying, but when you hear people say like, oh, why don't you just try? When you stop trying, that's when you can get pregnant. And that's when my friend got pregnant. They just stopped trying. And that's such crap. But the only truth behind that is that you take some of the pressure and the stress off and you give yourself a little confidence in your body. So that's the only positive I can see in when people say stop trying. But really, you can do that by just focusing on your mindset during the preconception journey. And when you do conceive, your energy, which I'm sure Kelly could talk about this, but your energy that you share with that baby is huge. So having a positive mindset throughout your pregnancy, which gets tough. You may struggle to get pregnant and then you get pregnant. Being pregnant is hard. It's scary. It's stressful. It's just all beginning. And you can have doubt in your body then or worry then. So having those affirmations and trusting in your body, even if you do fall pregnant, it's something to carry along the whole time. And then as you become a mom, staying positive.